What's up guys, KalipezTech here, coming back at you with another video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at what $149 gets you with the Samsung Galaxy A02s. Let's get into it. So this phone has a 6.5-inch PLS IPS LCD display with a resolution of 720p, a PPI of 270, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen to body ratio of 81.8%. We got a water drop notch right up here for the front facing camera, and this camera is 5 megapixels. Now it's not quite a hole punch, it doesn't look that clean, but compared to a lot of other water drop notch cameras, it does look pretty nice. As a matter of fact, overall, this display does look pretty good. Even though it's only 720p, I have the brightness at 100% right now, and for what it is pretty high quality. For storage, this phone has 64 gigabytes with microSD card expansion, so not only are you getting a really good amount of storage for such an entry-level phone, but you're also getting microSD card expansion. For comparison's sake, in this price range, I typically see phones with only 32 gigabytes of internal storage. For example, the Motorola Moto G Play is in this price range too, and it only has 32. In fact, I've seen phones with as little as 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Sometimes the storage does get that small, and in my opinion, not even an average user who barely does anything with their phone is going to be happy with that little storage. These days, apps and the system in general are all getting larger and larger, so you're gonna need a decent amount of storage to do pretty much anything. So it's nice to see that this phone has 64 gigabytes, which is well over what you would expect from a phone in this price range. Now, keep in mind that that is this specific variant of the phone in my hand. There's also another variant out there that only has 32 gigabytes, but this specific one that you can get for $149 does have 64 gigabytes. Now this phone has no wireless charging, no fingerprint scanner, and no face unlock. So in terms of extra features when it comes to the hardware itself, you're not really going to be getting anything special. If you're okay with putting in a PIN or a password or a pattern, which I personally am not, but if you are, then this isn't going to be really an issue. But if you're looking for some extra features like wireless charging or face unlock or a fingerprint scanner, then you're probably going to be disappointed. And again, keep in mind that this is a $149 phone. It's pretty entry level, so even though some phones in this price range do have a few of those features, it's not too surprising that this phone doesn't. Overall, this phone has a sleek, modern design that I don't think looks cheap at all. The back here is made of a more durable, hard material. It has an interesting texture to it too. I really like that. And another thing I really like about this material is that it doesn't pick up fingerprints very easily. So you're not gonna have to worry about wiping it off every 5 seconds every time you pick it up. We have a triple camera setup here on the back with a 13 megapixel rear camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Not bad at all. Some phones in this price range do have an ultra wide camera. Unfortunately, you're not getting it with this phone. So if that is something you're looking for, then you should probably look at a different device. If you like the macro camera, that's a plus for this phone. It does have portrait mode in the rear and the front cameras, so that's another nice feature. It does take pretty decent pictures, but keep in mind this is an entry-level phone, so if you're expecting professional quality, then you're probably gonna be disappointed. This photo was taken with the main camera of this phone. As you can see, it's really not bad. The quality is pretty decent, especially considering that it's an entry-level phone, but it's not crazy good. I'd say if you're taking pictures for social media or something more casual, then this phone's camera is going to be completely fine. But if you're looking for something that's really ultra professional quality, you could use for legit photography, maybe a website or something like that, then you're probably going to be disappointed because even though the camera is decent quality, first of all, there's no ultra wide camera or any special features like that. And second of all, this phone is pretty mediocre at handling lighting. I feel like it just looks a little bit too bright on this photo, and the colors are a little on the dull side too. As far as video goes, this phone is pretty average, being able to shoot 1080p videos in both the rear and the front camera. Nothing super high quality like 4K or anything. So again, if you really want to take some serious videos on this phone, then you're probably going to be a little disappointed by the quality. But if you're just doing stuff casually, like for social media, maybe Snapchat or something, where the quality isn't too important, then it should probably be fine. Internally, this phone is getting 4 GB of RAM with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 450 processor. Now again, keep in mind there is another variant of this phone out there, and that other variant has 3 GB of RAM, but this specific version in my hand does have 4 GB of RAM. I ran a Geekbench 5 benchmark test on the phone and it came back with a single core score of 129 and a multi-core score of 488. So if you're looking for really good processing power, then even for this price, you can do quite a bit better. There are a lot of phones out there that might not have amazing processing power in this price range, but will be quite a bit better than this. This processor is pretty much meant for your basic activities like sending text messages, making calls, browsing the web a little bit, and maybe some light social media use. If you're expecting to do stuff like gaming, video editing, and other things that need a little bit more processing power, you're gonna be disappointed because this phone's not gonna be able to do that stuff very well. But if you are doing stuff like web browsing and social media, the upside to this phone is that it has 4 GB of RAM, so it should be able to handle stuff like social media, maybe an app like Instagram, pretty decently. The battery is definitely one of the strong points of this phone. With a 5000 mAh battery that supports 15-watt fast charging, you're definitely gonna get a lot of power out of this. So if you have a more mobile type of lifestyle, maybe you're not always able to get to a charger all the time and still have to use your phone throughout the day, this is gonna be a good benefit because not only are you gonna get that life per charge, but the ability to use fast charging is gonna help you charge it up even faster, so you won't have to waste as much time waiting for it to charge once the phone's battery is finally starting to get low. The other thing that might benefit you with this battery is that since it's so large, if you prefer to get a phone and keep it for a long period of time without having to replace it, this is gonna be good. Because down the road, when other phones with smaller batteries are starting to wear out, this phone's battery is still gonna have quite a bit of life left in it. Now, in conclusion, is this phone worth $149? I would say yes, it is. Now, there are other phones out there around this price range that do have some features that are quite a bit better than the features of this phone, but it's still really skewed. For example, there might be a phone with a much more powerful processor, but the camera might be completely awful. There might be a phone with double the storage, but the processor or the battery or the camera might not be very impressive. I would say that this is a really rounded phone. It might not be amazing at anything specifically, but for an entry-level phone, it is really decent at pretty much everything. Typically, phones at this level are for your basic activities like sending text messages, making calls, browsing the web, going on social media, that stuff that's more simple and doesn't really require too much processing power or any complex features to do. And for that, this phone is a pretty good value. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.